Some exciting things happening over at the Franklin McKinley School District here on Comunidad del Valle. With me are Maya Esparza. He's a board member, also Dr. John Porter, the superintendent there at Franklin McKinley. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, we were talking in the previous segment about the achievement gap. There's optimism. Are you as optimistic? And if not, what do we need to do? Roll up our sleeves.
Well, we've been working hard for the last 10 years on dealing with this issue like other urban school districts. And I'm very proud of our progress. We still have a long ways to go. We haven't solved that issue. But we've seen tremendous gains, especially in the last 5 years. And we have a number of innovative schools that are in our district now. Our board, about 7 years ago, passed an effective schools board policy, which meant that we look for school designs that work, whether they're charter or district schools. And we created that portfolio that has really paid off for us, because it not only gives hope to the families that they have choice to meet the needs of their students, but we learn from each other because of that portfolio.
So the way we did things maybe back in the 90s, it just simply wasn't working. I mean, we kept seeing California dip and dip to 49 on the scale of 50.
Well, I think the most stunning data that I looked at last year was from the Dana Institute at University of Texas that linked the achievement gap, instead of horizontally measuring it over the years, which we have increased. They took a vertical view of achievement gap from the 90s to 2011. And basically our Hispanic students now are performing at the same level that our Anglo and Asian students performed in the early 90s.
Wow. Well, that's
so
significant.
that really tells the story about how we have to, the urgency in addressing this.
And Maya, you there as a board member, you're kind of there to make sure that as a board member, that things get done in the way that we start bridging this achievement gap that we keep talking about.
Sure, we really look at innovations, again, both district schools, charter schools, learning from other best practices around us, and ensuring that we build on partnerships that we have, whether it's parent engagement or whether it's a city partnership or a nonprofit partnership. We're really trying to make the most of everything that's out there to help our kids.
So the role of board members has maybe changed in the last 15 years because you do have to create these partnerships that maybe we didn't have to in previous years?
Well, I mean, we have significant achievement gap issues, and one thing I'd just like to point out is, you know, in the recent years where we have seen gains, we still have an achievement gap with our Latino students, but we've been able to see these gains at a time when schools have been cut more than ever. So that gives us optimism moving forward. And going back to the partnerships, we're really lucky in Franklin McKinley. We've had partnerships in our school district since the 90s. And so we really try and build on that and push as much as possible. I think one area that board members can really push the most on is the whole idea and concept of parent engagement. We haven't done enough of that, I think, not just in Franklin McKinley, but system-wide. And we really need to do a lot more of that so that our kids are successful.
No, absolutely. At our school, at Adelante, it's 30 hours a year that you have to commit yourself to. Otherwise, your child can no longer attend that school. And so there are different funding mechanisms, I guess, for the schools, and it's crucial right now for your constituents, the parents and families, to let you know, to give you input on where that funding should go.
Yes, the new funding formula requires school districts to reach out to the community and staff to get ideas for funding. The Board of Trustees still has the final authority and authority to actually approve what is done, but it can only be done through some real engagement issues, which all school districts have all leaped into this quite intensively the last several months. I think it's a wonderful process. Next year it will be lengthened and easier to do. This year was because of some issues at the state level, it got implemented late. But in the future it's going to bring great opportunity. There is more money for California schools, that's the good news. And for school districts that in urban areas that serve the demographics like Franklin McKinley, there's extra concentration funds. I just want to make sure the public knows, and we've had to explain this to our parents, we're still 48th or 49th out of 50 states funding. And in 8 years, when all the increases will be done, if there isn't other things done with school financing, we will still be at 48th and 49th.
Boy, don't know how that can happen.
So we really were at an all-new low in funding public schools. And now we're building that back, which is great news, and I appreciate the governor being the champion of that. But I don't want to have people misled that we have solved this issue of equitable school funding for the needs of our kids, because we haven't reached that point yet.
Very good point. The Franklin McKinley School District, again, out of San Jose. There is the web address for more information. Log on and make sure that if you are a parent in that district, you do get involved. Thank you so much for coming in and educating us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Maya Esparza está en la mesa directiva del Distrito Escolar Franklin McKinley en San José. Ella nos acompaña ahora aquí en Comunidad del Valle. Y acabamos de hablar de esa brecha en el rendimiento en los estudios de nuestros estudiantes. El trabajo de usted como directora de la mesa directiva de un distrito escolar es verificar que los educadores, los directores, los maestros estén haciendo lo posible para que se cierre esa brecha.
Sí, es muy importante que padres y maestros y la comunidad todos participen en total para mejorar el sistema académico.
¿Qué ve usted? ¿Que se está mejorando o que todavía hay mucho trabajo que hacer?
Pues los dos, hay mucho trabajo que hacer todavía, pero hay oportunidades. En el estado nos dan más fondos este año por 8 años en total y comienza ahora. Y con ese dinero podremos pagar por ciertos programas para mejorar este sistema académico.
Y esos fondos tienen que saber cómo usarlos y por eso están pidiendo la ayuda de la comunidad para que les informen a ustedes en qué deben invertir esos fondos.
Sí, puede ser diferente de una escuela a la otra. En una escuela los padres y maestros pueden querer uniformes porque es importante en esa cultura de esa escuela específica. En otro puede ser deportes para mejorar la salud física y mental de los niños.
¿Tiene usted esperanza de que se pueda progresar un poco más ese nivel educativo, que nuestros estudiantes que quizás están fallando, que se les rete a que se mejoren? ¿Hay esperanza todavía?
Sí, claro, sí. Tenemos que trabajar juntos y es algo que podemos hacer.
¿Y qué pueden hacer el público para informarles a ustedes en dónde se debe invertir ese dinero que viene del Estado?
Pueden visitar el website de Franklin McKinley y este año solamente tenemos un proceso que tomó 2 meses, pero en los años siguientes ese proceso va a tomar 7 meses para que el público pueda participar. Vamos a tener más tiempo en el año académico.
Y bueno, alerta, si usted no abre la boca y les dice en dónde se debe invertir ese dinero, ellos lo van a hacer por ustedes. Ellos saben, ellos tienen ideas en dónde se puede invertir ese dinero, pero necesitan ideas del público, de los padres, en qué forma se debe invertir.
¿Y para qué los padres participan? Eso es muy importante para los estudiantes.
Platíquenos de esa participación, porque sin el involucramiento de los padres, la educación del niño pues se puede limitar, ¿verdad? Tienen que ser, la educación debe ser en la casa y en la escuela, pero los padres toman un papel muy importante en la educación de sus hijos. ¿Se está viendo que se involucran más padres o falta más?
Falta, es algo que tenemos que hacer más y estos fondos nos dejan hacer eso. Eso es algo que en Franklin McKinley vamos a hacer más trabajo en eso, en cada escuela, en el distrito en total, para averiguar qué trabaja mejor. Todavía no sabemos todo, vamos a tener que experimentar un poquito, pero creo que podemos hacer mucho mejor.
Y como miembro de la mesa directiva, usted también tiene que salir a la comunidad para ver con quién se puede hacer compañerismo. ¿A quién se puede traer de la comunidad para que les ayude a ustedes a invertir en su escuela?
Tenemos el proceso que se llama LCAP, pero también la mesa directiva. Cada mes vamos a una escuela en Franklin McKinley para hablar con los padres directamente. Vamos a tener varias formas para escuchar y para entender.